particular concerns. I mean, most folks are activists of one sort or another. With this, did anybody see the YouTube on her, where she was for people in the Toledo area that have been foreclosed on to squat in their homes? Marcy Kaplan, U.S. House of Representatives. Anybody?
I know her.
Yeah, I mean.
I know she did too.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was beautiful. So, I mean, she's been so to the mark on so many things.
That was excellent. And I really admire her for what she did.
The courage, yeah. She was one of, I think, about 5 or 6 people in the House or such that were leading the charge against the bailout, the big bailout. I mean, that was the biggest daylight heist in history, basically. It really was, because there's no accounting for how they're using the money, even after the fact, other than sheer embarrassment. And there's nothing going down to the people's end. The money is not being used for so-called liquidity issues. They're basically being used to recapitalize the banks. Put money back in there so they can leverage it out and then maybe have more loans. But they're shivering in their shoes because they don't want to, in the current economy, they don't want to loan anything out. So they're just hunkering down. So it means the money's not getting out to ordinary people. So it means the businesses are shut down, jobs are disappearing, et cetera, et cetera. It's a crash and burn time. I mean, this one political economist type person talked about what we're really going through is sort of a triple level crisis. It's not just a single or double, but a triple, and one of which spins around the notion, a quote from Gore Vidal, no disrespect to Obama or what the possibilities are with the new administration, and Gore Vidal described it as we basically have a one ideology political system and 2 right wings, which ends up being corporate. So it means that people are not able to think out of the box. The people that have been perpetrating this stuff are being put in charge. Carl Denninger's nickname for Geithner is Turbo Timmy, as in preparing his taxes and skating on it, etc. But yet he's, the head of the Treasury. What kind of MO is that? Whether or not they can produce anything is a whole other matter. So, does everybody understand that the U.S. Federal Reserve is not a U.S. government controlled operation? Everybody got that one down? Okay. Let's see. Everybody understand that this has been going on, probably building up to this for about 30 years? Okay. Anybody know what the Commodity Futures Modernization Act was? Anybody? Okay. That was the act that, one of the acts that Phil Graham pushed through in 2000 that basically legislated that the derivative market would not be regulated at all. So right now we have somewhere on the order of, estimates are anywhere from 500 trillion to 1,000 trillion out there in terms of debt that's likely to wash back into these various banks and deplete them, deflate them. So that's a result of no regulation.
Is that the derivative market?
The derivatives market. There's like about 10 different versions of that, but it's basically a casino situation. The original assumption was that the people that would be investing in that were rich anyway, so maybe we shouldn't worry so much about, regulating it. So we created a shadow banking system, in effect. But you gotta understand, the total global gross domestic product value is somewhere around $50 to $55 trillion. That there's this shadow banking process going on where the debt they don't even know how to value it, but anywhere from 500 trillion to 1,000 trillion. And it's like the freaking big monster that's going to come back and just eat up everything.
But it's not out of derivative market.
Yes, it's derivative market. There's about 8 to 10 different versions of that in terms of losses. AIG going down was important to the extent that they're the ones that have been insuring both sides of the bet in terms of whether things were going to go up or going down or short. So them having to all of a sudden cover all these losses because the economy going down puts them in a major hole. They were assuming that at an insurance agency that the risk would be spread out. Damn if it didn't jump up and it's concentrated as it can possibly be. So again, this is a stacked system. Hyman Minsky is an important name to mention in here. He was always considered to be a renegade. He takes the absolute opposite stance of the so-called free market types. He believes that stability breeds instability in so-called capitalist markets in terms of innovation and so forth. Thereby, they need to be regulated. The longer it's unregulated, the more unstable it becomes. And he's pretty much, you go through his material, and he does all the solid economic studies and comparisons and so forth, and he comes out pretty square on the mark. He passed on in '96. But there's various people talking about him in terms of what he actually predicted, how he analyzed it. Again, coming back to one of his major things is that there's a stable economic system breeds instability. The history of what's going on in the U.S. is the stability has allowed people to deregulate, to justify deregulating, taking away all the regulations, and things blow up. It's almost when the Glass-Steagall Act was finally gotten rid of. It had been chewed away for years by the Federal Reserve. Glass-Steagall Act is what was put into place in 1933 and 34 to put a firewall between the speculative finance part and then the insurance companies and the regular banking system. They blew that all away in 1999. It was called the Financial Services Modernization Act, as if that was okay. Totally made it disappear finally. It's almost like, I mean, the time between now in terms of relative to this blow up is as if it was just waiting for us to make that go away, and it would jump up just as strong as what it was back in the 30s. So again, rather than assuming stability and everything's going to be okay, and the free market thing also assumes that, oh, the free market will fix everything so long as the government stays out of it. Well, surprise. Now they're coming to us for $800 trillion to restore the financial system.
Billion, 800 billion.
Excuse me, 800 billion. That's only one chunk of it. Now, where's the free market when it comes to this? You have to get down and look at the basics. I mean, literacy, I've got a number of things up here. You can read it, talk to people about it. The foreclosure thing, I mean, people are just dying. I mean, they don't know what to do, where to go, and they're just being ignored at this point. There doesn't look to be really much coming on in terms of revival. I mean, we got no industrial base to rebuild at this point, and this pack of Congress people have basically attacked the auto industry. As nasty as those guys were in terms of showing up in their Learjets, the UAW, I mean, that represents a lot of people in terms of where that money gets distributed, and attacking them for supposedly high wages is just nuts, because that drifts through the community.